Jose's done that. I think I bought into the hype of the All or Nothing documentary. I got a wee bit of the cult of Jose, like, you know. I bought in before, back in the day.
I cannot sit here having not 20 minutes ago said that I was wrong and Moyes is not done, and follow that up with yes, Jose is done.
You don't
so
have
I'm going to disagree with you
you.
completely on this, Dave. I'll let you get your points out and then I will come in with a wave of fury.
Right, so, you know, about 10 years ago I was a big fan of Jose, because I thought that just what he did with Inter Milan and everything was just outrageous.
And Chelsea.
Like, he was on that dominant run. Even then he went to Real Madrid and won.
Sure, is he not still, his Real Madrid team's the only team to get a century points?
I think so, right? And he was the manager to win La Decima, wasn't he?
Yeah, like he holds a record. You know, Pep never got a century in La Liga. Jose did.
Yeah. So, I think I bought into the sort of cult of Jose again when I watched All or Nothing Spurs, because me and you did the review for it, and sort of just came in and was like, Jose's not done. He's still good. And I just don't think he is. I think he's done that. I think he's done at the top level of club management. Like,
see, this is this reactionary thinking from people.
It's not that.
We were sitting in here a few months ago talking about how Spurs are going to win the league and how Jose is great, and now a few months later that they're in a bad run of form and all of a sudden Jose is done. This is very, very rushed, very quick, very reactionary thinking, Dave. I expect more from a man of your stature, Dave.
But I had thought this and then flipped the other way. Now I'm just flipping back.
Stop flip-flopping, Dave.
Aye, but it was like, I thought that Jose had showed signs of, like, after coming out of United and stuff, I was just like, he's not the same as he once was. And then I sort of, you know, he went in that wee run and all.
Even then he brought success to United.
Aye, but it's the Europa League and a League Cup success to United when you're Jose Mourinho. Like, the man we held to standard of European Cups and Premier League title wins, it's like,
he still is our, you know.
He's now at Spurs, Dave.
We finished second.
He's at Spurs.
We finished second.
He's at Spurs. He's now at Spurs. It's going downhill for him, right? I'm bringing it up. Right, we're getting into it. The game's changed and he's refused to change with it. For a start, he's right. There's one thing that you can't defend.
Right,
he is as stubborn as fuck.
You're standing there giving it that he's at Spurs. Do you think if Jose wanted to go and take the PSG job, hoover up trophies and have a cushy life of it, he could have. But no, Jose wanted a challenge, so he wanted the Spurs to challenge himself. And what? Because he's not winning the league title. Spurs they've won one League Cup in 20 years. What do you want from this man? This is Spurs we're talking about, Dave. Come on, it's Spurs was once a team talk.
But it's worrying, lad. That Spurs team's better than what he's getting out of them at the minute. That Spurs team's way better than what he's getting out of them. They've put money into it. And, like, he's got the attackers that he needs. At the start of the season I was thinking, like, yeah, he's got depth in attack. He's going to be able to create the chances and score the goals to get him through it. And he's just a stubborn old man at this point. And he's just so set in his ways. It's hurtful to watch. Like, I used to love him. And it's like, you're so stubborn, you will not change. And it's like,
it's on 6 by us, Dave.
It doesn't matter. Right, I've got stats. I've got stats, right. This is the way football is going, is that teams and coaches and everything are taking more chances to create and play better.
The way football is going is that fans are way too reactionary, and, you know, 6 months ago Ole was the worst coach in world football and now Ole's great. You know, 3 months ago Jose's going to win the league and now Jose should be out. How reactionary.
Jose's been in the down.
That's going to be my third talking point here. Reactionary fans need to go down.
Jose's been on the downcline, or a downward spiral ever since he left Chelsea. And even when he arrived at Chelsea, and he did win the league to be fair, but at football, the game has changed in the last 5 years and he won't change with it. And it's like, he's so done. If he doesn't change, he'll be out of top team Premier League management. This is a big.
Well, I would say he's already done with top team Premier League management. He's managed at Chelsea, he's managed at Spurs, he's managed at United. Like, you know, he's probably not going anywhere else.
I think that the move for him would be back to Italy, but even they're trying to change a little bit too, with trying to play some more attacking stuff in certain areas. Teams are taking chances more. They want to create more, and they're sort of. It's overloading the fact that, like, they're pushing higher up the field. They're trying to play a bit more progressive football, and they're banking on the fact that they're going to create more chances in games and score more goals nowadays, right? The game is it's changed to a counter-pressing style, high up the pitch, play a little bit more attractive football, and everything's moving away from that sort of defensive brand of football that kind of took over a bit in like the sort of mid 2000s to late 2000s. I remember watching the 2010 World Cup, and there were so many defensive outfits in it. Like the teams in the World Cup were, it was a boring World Cup. It was a bad World Cup for football. Like it was really defensive.
It was, and you know, tiki taka was popular, so it was 1,000 passes before shot.
Yeah. And like it was only really Spain that was doing that. Like Argentina were defensive, Holland were defensive. It was dire stuff. But the game's moved away from him, and it has. It's moved so far away from that. The
game will never move away from a coach who wants to set up a good defensive base.
It'll give you,
and he can play attacking football. Yeah. Like, you know, there's been results this season that he's went out and had created tons of chances, and you know, Spurs went in a really good run of form, and now they're in a really bad run of form. But
he's done that.
You know, it's very reactionary to say he's done.
I was thinking this before, and then just got caught up in the documentary, and now I'm going back to where it was. He's fucking. Look, teams are creating way more chances, and they're looking at it like they could maybe concede more goals, but they're gonna have more chances in games, and Jose's not creating enough at the minute. Jose's team, and this is a team with attacking options, don't forget, and a team. I would be fucking petrified if they didn't have Harry Kane and Son Heung-min this season, because they've scored a lot of goals. They are 13th in the league for shots per game. 13th depth. They're behind West Ham and Fulham. They're creating 11.2 shots per game. They're 8th in shots on target. 4.5 shots on target per game.
They did lose Kane for a good chunk of this run.
Kane's done more than he ever needed to do. Kane's got like 10. Has got goals and assists galore, and Son Heung-min's got goals too. They do score them, but they don't create enough chances. And other teams, like even teams say like Brighton, like you watch Brighton the other night and they get done by Roy Hodgson's Crystal Palace, but they created like 20 opportunities. Now if you just had somebody up there that could put the fucking ball in the net, they would hammer teams like that. And I think this is what's happening to Jose at the top end of it, because teams are creating so many more chances. He's losing big games, and that was one thing that he used to never do.
Then you have a pragmatic coach too, with Moisey, who we were just talking about tearing up the league.
Moisey will be second next year. They're 7th in the league for goals this season, so they're behind Everton and Villa, and like that's Carlo Ancelotti. You're behind too. He's not right. This is I did this when we talked about this. I did like a project on Jose 10 years ago. Right, this is Jose's seven winning principles. This is his football and philosophy, Dave. There is nothing positive or there's nothing positive about any of them. It's all negative, defensive shit, right? So Jose's first winning principle, right, is the game is won by the team who commits fewer errors. That's fair enough, right? But immediately that's point number one. That's a negative outlook on the way you should play. Point number two is football favours whoever provokes more errors in the opposition, right? Again, negative thinking, not progressive, not anything like that.
But you could argue that's Klopp's style of thinking. He high presses to get the opposition.
It gets worse.
Errors and advantageous positions.
Aye, but football favour. Aye, yeah, that's right. They're not wrong. They're not wrong. But it's negative thinking. It gets worse, right? So 3, away from home, instead of trying to be superior, it's better to encourage the opposition's mistakes. Point number 4. Whoever has the ball is more likely to make an error. He doesn't even want the ball. Right? Point number 5. Whoever has least possession reduces mistakes, the possibility of mistakes. So he doesn't want the ball. Point number 6. Whoever has the ball has fear. And then point number 7. Therefore, whoever does not is thereby stronger. So he doesn't want the ball. He feels that he's stronger without the ball. He feels that the team that has the ball is has fear, is more prone to mistakes and stuff like that. Because we know this is the way Jose wants to play. It's like draw you in, sucker you in. He's one of is pressing, like they don't press in the advanced third of the field. Their attackers don't press, they drop back. Even their mid-block press is one of the lower ones in the league. And he has no structure for attacking.